All right. Hello, my Teaserking family, for the third time. Having internet connection issues. I don't know. I'll leave my first one up because that was pretty good. The second one was a waste of time. It never clicked in. Anyway, I've been talking about grading teams and onions on your feet to cure your nasal infections and things like that. So I talked about, well, again, let's talk about grading teams. Why do we do it? We do it for the whole purpose of what happened yesterday. My pick was North Texas, laying 19 to Charlotte, and they won 54-20. How did I do it? And that's really what I want to get into quickly, and then I'll get into the lines quickly and the injuries. So how did I do it? Is I'm looking at past scores. And you see North Texas scores a lot, right? 40 points a game. And so when you see that, you go, oh, okay, this team can score. They have a good offense, which is going to work 99% of the time unless they play a great defense like in Ohio State, Georgia when they're on, Alabama. But if it's just a regular team in conference, they're going to score a lot of points, which is what they did. The Z team doesn't score and doesn't have a good defense. So you're kind of grading out the offense and defense. The point of the grade is, I can look and see, what's happening today. And I can quickly look and say, oh, Virginia's playing North Carolina. Virginia's an over team. It means they score about 35 points. Gives up 23, and North Carolina's an under team. They don't score. They score about 15 points, and they have a 25 defense. So I immediately can then analyze, and I look at, is Virginia going to be able to score on North Carolina? Yes. Is North Carolina going to be able to score on Virginia? Not probably a lot. And then you go from there. I look at quarterbacks, and Virginia's got North Texas as quarterback from last year, who's very good. And so I'm reading the teams, and most of it's done by the scores. So if a team scores 35, I assume they're going to score 35 unless they play in Ohio State or a big defensive team, Texas, Oklahoma. We're not going over with that game. And that's why, but you have to learn the teams. So yesterday, my friend said, how did you do it? Because I told them I had North Texas minus 19. They win 54-20. How did you do it? Well, because I know North Texas scores a lot. Decent defense, not great, but Charlotte's a Z team. They don't score, and they have a terrible defense. Well, that's what I want. I told them that's my favorite pick is the over against the Z, because I know the Z can't do anything. They're not going to score, and they can't stop them. And that's basically what happened. And you got 54-20. They're just running the ball and they're going for 50-yard touchdown. So that's the key to it. And then you got like today, Missouri Vanderbilt, A versus A. Well, they both have good offenses. They both have good defenses. Tease the dog. And that's where the teaser comes in. The teaser goes from Vandy 2.5 to I can take Missouri in 8.5. This should be a close game. They're very even. Two good quarterbacks, two good defenses. The defenses are 17-20. So I'm trying to predict the game. Well, I don't know if it'll be high scoring, not with these teams. The total is 51.5. Probably you'll get high scoring. Then it becomes the quarterbacks. And you're looking at Daggio against Pravola, whatever. The Missouri quarterback, who's very good also. So I said, well, if you got good quarterbacks, you should get points. The defenses are good, but they're not Oklahoma and Texas and Ohio State defenses. I apologize. I've been losing the internet, and it just, like now I'm on and then it goes internet. So I don't know if it's where I lived or usage or memory on my computer. I don't know, but like yesterday, it didn't go out at all. So it's very inconsistent. Anyway, apologize for that. So the point of the grade is so you can see the team and know what do you want to do with the teams. I'm looking for Z teams against over teams like this yesterday. That's why I bet it. I hate Friday nights because it's not a normal routine, but this I couldn't pass up. And I knew North Texas would score, and the spread was decent at 25, 19, 20. Okay, they got to win by 3 touchdowns. Uh, they won by 34. They won by 5 touchdowns. So, but that's what you get with an over team. So if I grade the team, and it's going to be by points. So how's Vandy an A team? Well, they probably score 35, and they probably give up. Well, they give up 20. So it's a pretty good defense with a very good offense. So an A team's good offense, good defense, basically. And a Z team's bad offense, bad defense. So if I have a good offense and I'm going against a bad defense, how are they going to stop me? They won't. The problem I get in is if I take North Texas against Oklahoma and say, oh, I'm going to, no, it won't work. The Oklahoma defense will shut down the high flying offenses. So that's normally what happens. So today we got Arkansas and Auburn, and we got a good under team in Auburn against a good offense in Arkansas. So as I just said, Auburn's defense should shut down Arkansas pretty much. Arkansas is an over team with a 32 defense. So therefore, Arkansas isn't going to stop Auburn. Auburn's got a decent enough offense. So Auburn should be able to put up points. The defense should be able to stop Arkansas pretty well. A&M, on the other hand, played them last week, and it was like a 90-point game. But A&M's got a 23 defense. Auburn's got an 18 defense. So as I said, Auburn's defense should be able to shut down Arkansas. And our Arkansas's defense is 32. Auburn should be able to score. You get Auburn as a dog. Auburn should be a live dog in this game. You don't really want to go over under. Normally I play Auburn under because they don't score and they have a great defense. But in this case, Arkansas being an offensive team and a team with a shit defense, I can't go under because Arkansas will score. So the play would be go take Auburn as the dog because the defense should shut Arkansas down. Auburn should be able to score enough to make it a competitive game, if not win. Arkansas, this is the problem with Arkansas, is their defense sucks. So Auburn's going to run it down their throat with the quarterback, eat the clock, be a lower scoring game than the A&M game. David, good morning. ITK 3 locks, that's cool. Yeah, I have 1 college lock today and 2 pro locks tomorrow. Nick, thinking of playing Missouri and Virginia. Thoughts? David, hey TK, you monetize. That's great. You monetize. What do you mean, David? I've always monetized. My thoughts on that, Nick? Well, I think Missouri. I think it's a dog play. You got A versus A, as I just said, so it's probably a dog play. Virginia against North Carolina. North Carolina's pretty bad. North Carolina is an under team. They don't score with the Belichicks and a 25 defense. And we love the Virginia quarterback. So I can't really give you a pick on it because, as I just stated, if you want my advice on games, then you'll have to pay a consulting fee of $35 so I can help you on picks or 6-game teasers or 8-game teasers. As you know, as being a customer, if you pay and then I give away picks to people that don't pay, it's not fair to the customer. So I can't do that. But if you want to pay for consulting, I can give you that. But I can give you the A versus A, play the dog, which I do say. David, from YouTube, you can get memberships and super chats now sent to you. Well, I did. I had some people give me a super chat, like a tip. Like Ron gave me, I think $15 in a chip. I'll have to look into the memberships because, yeah, I should be doing this on memberships for, I don't know, $25 or something. I don't know how they work, especially for the economics. I want to do memberships there because um, it's too good of information. But I don't really want to charge too many people, but I do want to charge a small fee um, for the information that I'm giving is invaluable. And I'm probably the only one that can do it. But I'll look into that. Thank you, David. Um, so again, I apologize. The internet. Sometimes when I end the class, it's the internet freezes up, and I'm forced to end it. So I apologize. And earlier, so I'll leave the 20 minutes. Anyway, it's taking a white onion, sweet onion, taking a slice, cutting it into four, putting two pieces on your foot, and I put socks over it, and I slept on it, and my nasal infection's gone. There's something with the bottom of your feet and putting the onions, they will heal you. It's just the way it works. Your feet are very conducive to that. So anyway, I did talk about grading the team. And as Nick's asking, you're trying to pick the winner based on the grade. Now, you have to have accurate grades. And how do you do that? Sometimes you get fooled. You think a team's a Z team and they're not, or you think a team's an A team and they're not. They give up 30 points. Like Cincinnati and the Steelers last week, 33-31. Oh, wait a minute. I thought the Steelers had a good defense. No, they don't. Joe Flacco lit them up. So then you got the Steelers Green Bay this week, and you go, well, wait a minute. I don't know if the Steelers have this good defense. I see the Packers play Arizona, and I go, I don't know how good the Green Bay is, and they're not that good on the road. And that's where all my teaser trends come in, as Green Bay's a lousy road favorite. I used to do it in college. It's just too many teams. So I just grade the teams and look at them. Anyway, so yesterday I hit North Texas, minus 19, 54-20. And it was just what I thought. I had an over team against the Z team, laying 25. I loved it. And, they made me sweat into the fourth quarter, but then they exploded for 28 points fourth quarter and won 54-20. So that was my Friday pick, was North Texas. But that's what I look for. So when we were looking to bet against Z teams, that's why I grade them. But I got to be careful that the Z team's actually a Z team. In the NFL, real quickly, the Z teams, as I see them, are Cleveland, the Jets, Miami, and Tennessee, and probably Oakland. Those are the teams we want to bet against, just for the mere fact they suck. They have no offense. They have no defense. How the coach is still there, it's beyond me. But that's what we look for. And in college, the Z team, okay, Charlotte, let's quickly look at Z teams, and then I'll go through the lines. Kent plays Bowling Green. Let's see. Akron, a lot of MAC teams, because the MAC players that get good go into the Big Ten on this NIL bullshit. Akron is Z. Lou Monroe's a Z against Southern Miss. UMass is a Z, as we know, against Central. Ball State's a Z against North. Look at all the MAC teams that are Z teams. No offense, no defense. Oklahoma State's a Z team. Gundy's fired. Their quarterback stinks. He's a freshman. West Virginia's a Z team. Their quarterback's injured. They have no defense. Rich Rod never had defense. And I think Oregon State's also a Z team. So I bet against Charlotte with a powerhouse North Texas who scores a ton. Their quarterback threw for 608 yards yesterday. He had 400 at halftime. It's like, wow. So that's what you're looking for, is they're going to dominate a weak defense. Strong offense goes against weak defense. It's exactly what you think is going to happen. That's why we grade the teams. But you got to be careful in the grade. And that's where I excel, is making the grade where if you looked at it, you might not be able to just grade it. In other words, you see a team that's bad or that's good, like Ole Miss. Well, they beat some high school team 73-0. Oh, they're high scoring. No, they played a high school team. How did they do against Alabama, Georgia, Florida? And that's how you gotta rein in Mississippi or Georgia or in Arkansas. We saw Arkansas last week against A&M, and it was like 45-41. Okay. A&M doesn't have a great defense. They gave up 40 to Notre Dame. Okay, we get it. And so that helps your grade on it. And A&M can score. And we look at the quarterback because Reed at A&M is really strong. And that's what you're looking at. That's why we bet Daggio a lot. This Missouri quarterback's not bad. We've never heard of him. He's new, but he looks pretty good. He looked good against Alabama. That's the test. When you see him against an Alabama, you go, oh, shit, that's what I want to do. All right, it's 11:15. I've tried this. This is the third time I've tried this. The first time crapped out after 20 minutes. Second time crapped out right away, but I thought it was on and it wasn't because I'm not getting anybody coming in. All right, so let's look at the line. Ohio 11.5, 59.5 to Eastern Michigan. An over team Ohio playing a W team Eastern with a 33 defense. So you might think, well, let's take Ohio. They're going to score. Maybe. Ohio's with the 25 defense. But that's the idea. Purdue, 2.5. Wow, Purdue went favorite. What's going on here? Rutgers was 2.5. Now Purdue went to 2.5. 59.5. This is weird. The total didn't change. So if there was an injury to Rutgers that made Purdue a favorite, why isn't the line going down? So this is a very strange, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure why Purdue would be the favorite. I didn't really like them as a home dog that much because they really play okay. Rutgers an over team with the 31 defense. So Rutgers is going to score 30, but they don't have a defense. Purdue has a pretty good quarterback, and they got a 27 defense. So I don't know. I'm leaning to the dog in this game. I thought it would be Purdue, but now it's Rutgers. Really strange. Indiana, 26.5, 53.5, up from 25. Total at 54. It's a 9 a.m. game for UCLA. This big noon sucks. It's ridiculous that a Pac-10 team has to play at 9 in the morning their time. Indiana, good. UCLA, I don't know. They scored 42 on Penn State, 38 on Michigan State. And now they get Indiana, who, has a pretty good defense. It's not an Ohio State defense. It's an 11. They did kill Illinois, as we know. And then they went to Oregon and won 30-20. I think UCLA can score here. Just with the new offensive coordinator, the kid's son. We'll see. Indiana's for sure. They're going to pound the ball, and they got a good defense. So this will be interesting here. I think UCLA gives them a little bit of a game, but Indiana wins right around the 26. Let's see. Ole Miss, Oklahoma. Oklahoma 5.5, 52.5. This line hasn't changed. This is one of those games. You got an over team in Mississippi with the 22 defense goes to a strong defense under Oklahoma team with a 9 defense. And this is what I was talking about with the North Texas. I don't really want to jump on Mississippi, especially over playing this 9 defense. They will shut down Mississippi a little bit. Now, Mississippi had success against Georgia. So now we're like, oh, okay. So even they were able to score on Georgia. Oklahoma has been pretty tough. Probably not a 9 here. I think this is a close game. I think Mississippi will find a way to score. Oklahoma won't, but Oklahoma's defense is very tough. And I go back to the Michigan game. It was like 23-17, or they won by like 11, I think, because I had 12 or 13 in the game. So Michigan doesn't have a quarterback like Ole Miss. Ole Miss has a running quarterback, but he's really he's probably like Kyler Murray, where he can really run. I don't know how good he can throw, but we like Lane Kiffin. So I don't think this will be high scoring as Mississippi plays. Again, this is what you guard against. The over team playing this killer defense, Oklahoma with a 9. you can't just take Mississippi and you can't just take it over. But I do think this game will be competitive. I'll be shocked if Oklahoma wins 24-0. More at 24-21, probably like that. Northwestern, Nebraska. Nebraska 7.5, 44.5. Northwestern an under team with a 15 defense. Nebraska a B team with a 19 defense. Probably an under game. This is two good defenses playing. Nebraska can move. They are scoring more this year. They're a B team, not an under team. Northwestern beat Purdue 21-0. Beat Penn State 22. They've won 4 in a row. I think Northwestern is very competitive in this game, as well as probably a low-scoring game with a 15 defense and a 19 defense. Do we have those accurate? Well, Nebraska did give up 30 to Michigan. Maryland, they gave up 30. So are they really a 19 defense? I'm not sure. Northwestern beat Penn State 22-21. The quarterback broke his leg in the game in the fourth quarter. And then they beat Purdue 19-0. So I think Northwestern's playing very well. I think they could upset them very easily. This is a big noon game again. Too many noon games. Kansas State. Kansas 3.5, 55.5. You got two over teams with 25 defenses going. App State and Old D. We got Old D 13.5, 61.5. Both teams are over with 28 defenses. Syracuse, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is 16.5, 52.5. Syracuse, their quarterback's injured and out. He was really good from Notre Dame. He hurt his Achilles. The backup's struggling. They're not getting a lot of yards. Georgia Tech's basically going to pound it. They're an A team with a 20 defense. They did beat Clemson. We don't know how good Clemson is. We don't think they're that good, but they lost to Georgia Tech. They lost to another team. I think they lost to Syracuse. But Syracuse without the quarterback has got a 30 defense. I think Georgia Tech runs it down their throat today, and we like Haynes King. See, the quarterback's key. If we like the quarterback and he's good, even though he doesn't throw for 20 touchdowns and 2 picks, he runs for 20 touchdowns. So, they're at home. I don't look for them to get upset here. Again, it's the defense. Syracuse with the 30 defense is not going to pull the upset. Now, if they played Oklahoma with the 9 defense, then you could get the upset. All right, Kent and Bowling Green. Bowling Green is 8.5, 47.5, up from 7.5. The Sharps betting on Bowling Green. God knows why. Bowling Green's an E team with a 25 defense, so they could lose. Kent's a Z team with a 38, but I don't think Kent's going to beat them. Although Kent's played some decent games. And again, they could have played Ohio State and lost 70-0, which is going to skew their 38. And that's what you got to look for when you're grading the team. Are they really a Z team? How did they play against Bowling Green and Ball State and Ohio? That's really what you want to see to get the grade. You can't look at the high school game, and you can't look if they played Alabama or Ohio State. Of course, they're going to get killed. You've got to look at them in conference. So now that we're getting the conference games, we can really focus on we can regrade them a little bit better, because I'm seeing teams that I've graded, and then I look, in conference, their offense isn't as strong, or their defense is much weaker or better, and that's what you're looking at. But we got to know what type of team they are. All right, Virginia, North Carolina. This is a game Nick wants to know. Virginia's an over team with a 23 defense. North Carolina and under with a 25. I think I said it's 10.5 Virginia and a 50.5, down from 52. So they're betting the game under. North Carolina just doesn't score. They're a very weak offense. Virginia has a good quarterback, Mills, I think. And he came from North Texas. So you can see how the guy trains them. Very good coach at North Texas. That's why we love him over, because they'll score. This is a very strong coach who is a very strong offensive coach. I bet Baltimore wish they had this guy as their offensive coordinator, and then Lamar would actually be a quarterback. Um, so Virginia 10.5. It's a tough game. They're on the road, and you're facing Belichick, but the 25 defense. So Virginia should score. We love the quarterback, and North Carolina doesn't have one. So, I can see Virginia winning around 10, maybe 14. It's tough. You never know what Belichick has up his sleeve, but he doesn't have an offense. So I'd be shocked if Virginia lost the game, but it's by how much do they win by? And they could win by 30. I mean, you don't know. SMU Wake. SMU is 4.5, 53.5, up from 3.5. SMU, an A team with a 22 defense. I'm not crazy about the quarterback, Jennings. Wake, a B team with a 20. They did play, I think, Vandy very tough, or Georgia Tech, one of those two, like 31-30. So they're not a bad team. I think they're a live dog in this game. Total of 54. 22 defense and a 20. Not sure. Wake might be a good home dog, but SMU is an A team, so you don't really want to fuck with the A teams too much. Prophet, how are you? How's Canada? Toronto won like yesterday. You must be happy for that. South Florida and Memphis. Okay. South Florida is 359.5. Wow, this was 6. Now it's 3. Is there an injury here? Let's go in and see if it gives us that. And 59.5. Well, no, the actual line went from 60 to 58 to 59.5. There's no injury here. Brandon Lewis injury update for Memphis. So the quarterback for Memphis, who's not really good, but I think is a runner, is playing. Okay, so that's what we got here. There's no injury to South Florida. The injury was Memphis quarterback who got better. So the total went from 60 to 58, thinking the quarterback was out, to 59. South Florida is an over team with the 23. They really score. They're the ones who beat Boise, and they beat Florida at Florida, and then they lost to Miami. And they've been very strong scoring with Barnum, the quarterback. Memphis is an A team with an 18 defense. Now, they got a running quarterback mostly. He doesn't, like, if you look at he's like 6 touchdowns and 4 picks. He's not like the North Texas guy with 30 touchdowns and 2 picks. He's not going to throw for 600 yards. So Memphis, an A team, a decent defense. I would like South Florida as the dog in this game. I would lock it, but they're laying 3. The total, maybe with the quarterback playing, may be good. It's probably going to be high scoring, I would think. Auburn, Arkansas, as I discussed. Arkansas 2.5, 55.5. I think Auburn's defense, they're an under team with an 18 defense. Now, they won at Baylor, and they played Oklahoma within a touchdown. Auburn will score in this game, and the defense will shut Arkansas down. Arkansas is not scoring 40 points in this game. I'll be shocked. But Arkansas, the weakness is their 32 defense. I think Auburn's a very live dog in this game. I'm not touching the over-under. I've been playing Auburn under, winning under every week, except for week 1 against Baylor, because I always play Baylor over. They're just a natural with Schroyer Robertson, their quarterback. They get 35, 40 points a game against anybody, and they give up 35, 40 points. So the Auburn game did go over with Baylor. Then Auburn against Oklahoma and against these other teams have been very low scoring. But here's where you get the influx of, I got a strong under team against a strong over team. The under team should keep the game lower scoring, but it's hard to play Arkansas under. It's hard to play Auburn over, so that kind of cancels it. Prophet, Jays definitely needed that first win, and hopefully tonight as well. I'm going to give you you asked me for baseball. I'm going to say Toronto sweeps them. How about that? I think the guy is a choke tonight. The Toronto Dodger pitcher The Asians are very emotional. I think he chokes. And I think Toronto's hitting is just too much for the Dodgers. Shotani, what a joke. All you got to do to Shotani is pitch him high, and the guy will strike out every time. He basically has a golf swing, right? I hate his I hate his whole stance. And then he's just swinging like a golf. He's just hit. He's swinging like a golfer. He's just down and up, right? It's a classic. I'm golfing the ball. So all you got to do is put the ball above his waist, and he'll strike out every time. I don't know why anybody hasn't seen this, but the home run he hit was very low, right? And then he struck out 3 times. He's not all that to me. I don't know about he ain't going to pitch. He ain't going to be. Toronto will hit the hell out of him. Toronto's got too much hitting. Bo Bichette coming back helps, but I love the catcher, and I just Toronto too much hitting. Too much hitting. Everybody can hit, and they're just looking for singles and walks, and they're gonna moneyball you with everybody gets 10 pitches. There's no way the Dodgers with their bullpen sucks too much. I'm calling for Toronto to sweep because that was their ace yesterday and a lefty. Today, this guy will go 4 innings and he'll choke. I was in a casino. I was in Caesars way back, and it was a holiday game. BYU Penn State was a bowl game. This is in the 90s. And I'm watching the game calmly, Penn State's driving and BYU's driving. And there's some Asian guys sitting near me, and they get so excited because the guy gets a first down. And I'm like, dudes, relax. I mean, it's a first down. They're at midfield. Like, what are you screaming about? And I realize they're just very emotional. And I see it in sports. They're very emotional. And you can't be very emotional pitching. Toronto's going to hit the hell out of them. I don't know why anybody would be afraid of the Dodgers. When you have no bullpen, you're fucked. You can't win without a bullpen. And in today's game where they let the pitcher go 5 innings. So Toronto will sweep them. I would bet that. If you can bet the sweep, bet the sweep. You'll get good odds, and it's a no-brainer. All right. Dodgers looked flat last night after the long layoff. No. Toronto hit the hell out of them. And they beat the hell out of the pitcher. Snell, that's what he gets for leaving Tampa and going for the money. They will not win. The Dodgers will not win the series. No, Toronto is winning the series, no question. Because this is the first time I got to see them because they're never on TV, right? So I'm watching the game intently the way I watch football in college and college and everything. Toronto's got the better team, hands down. No question. Too much hitting. I'm not looking at the Dodgers, just pitch Shotani high and Mookie Betts. I'm not afraid of him. Freeman, just kind of pitch him carefully, and that's all they got. After the first 3 guys, they don't have anything. Max Muncy, yeah, I'm worried about him. What's he hit, 220? No. Toronto sweeps. All right, back to this. Akron and Buffalo. We got Buffalo 9.5, 48.5. Now here's where you got a Z team in Akron with the 30 defense and an under team with the 21 defense in Buffalo. Here's where you're scared to bet Buffalo. They barely beat Mass by 7 last week. Here they got the Z team, but I got an under team, which means they don't score much. The under team might hang around. You can't really take advantage of the 30 defense and that, so you got to be careful. Buffalo might win because it's at home, but this is not the team I want to play against the Z team. Utah State, New Mexico. New Mexico, 361.5. Both are over teams. Utah State at 31 defense, New Mexico at 26. New Mexico is pretty good. They played Michigan good. I love the coach. Utah State, you've got the old BYU coach, Brock Mendenhall. They've been playing decently. They've been playing over, but a couple of the games they've only scored in the 20s. So I'm not going to go over in the game as I should because I'm looking at the past games and I don't see Utah State putting up 50s. UConn and Rice, UConn 10.5, 48.5. UConn's an A team. They're playing very good ball. Jim Mora Jr., the coach from Indiana, is now there in a 22 defense. So they're a real solid team. Rice, the W team with the 27. They're a pretty good under team. Be careful. It's on the road. UConn maybe covers the 4, I would think, but on the road, it's a little different for a team like UConn. San Diego State, Fresno State, San Diego State 3, 46.5. San Diego State an A team with a 12 defense, Fresno a B with a 23. I honestly think this could be an under. I would prefer San Diego State as the dog, so not really sure here. Missouri Vandy. Vandy is 3, 52.5. Again, we love Daggio, but Missouri's pretty fucking good also. This is not maybe where you bet Daggio. Yes, he lit up LSU last week, but Missouri's better than LSU. They have a good quarterback and a good offense. LSU doesn't. We thought Neusmeyer would be good, but he's not. And that's the thing with Caleb Klubnik at Clemson and Arch Manning. You think they're good, but they're not. That's why Florida State keeps losing and Penn State keeps losing, is they have bad quarterbacks. The quarterback is such the key to the game. That's why we bet the Daggios and we bet the North Texases and the Baylors and the TCUs. They've got great quarterbacks, and that's going to be the difference, especially in college. So this is a tough one to take Daggio. I mean, he'll probably win, but Missouri's very good. They lost to Alabama 27-24. So they played them tough. And if you can play Alabama tough, you can play Vandy. I just think this is a close game. I actually would probably tease the dog in this game, as I said. I didn't play it that way, but it should be a very good game. It's a 3:30 game. Alabama and South Carolina. Alabama is 11.5, 47.5. They're an A team, 17 defense, great quarterback, great coach. South Carolina is an under team with a 20 defense. Their quarterback, Lenora Sellers, is doing nothing this year. They don't even get 300 yards a game. 47.5 the total. Alabama probably wins 30-10. I think somewhere in that neighborhood. Toledo, Washington State. Toledo's now favored. Toledo 1.5, 45.5. I sort of like Washington State as the home dog. I like Toledo as the dog, but now they've went favored. Washington State's playing decent, though. They played Ole Miss 24-21, and we saw against Georgia, they put up, 38 points. And then they played somebody tough. This is South Dakota. Coach and players are at Washington State now. And they're finally getting used to it. So I don't know. I'm not playing Washington State as the dog. I don't know over under. Toledo an A team, 14 defense. Washington State, kind of a W team, but they're switching. So I'm keeping my eye. Maybe they're an E team, 27 defense. It's not a game I want to play under because Washington State's got the 27 defense. It's not the game I can play over because Toledo's got a 14 defense. This is a really a nowhere game as far as I'm concerned. Illinois, Washington, very good game here. Washington's down to 3.5 from 4.5, and 54.5 is the total. Illinois an over team. Luke Atmeyer, very good quarterback, 25 defense. Washington an A team, 20 defense. Love their quarterback. Two very good quarterbacks in this game. It's in Washington. It's 3:30, so not too bad for Illinois. It's actually a noon game for Washington. They can't get away from these early starts. Western Michigan and Miami of Ohio. We can find this one. There it is. Miami is now 2.5 up from 1.5, and 40.5 from 41.5. Western's an under team, 17 defense. Miami's an under with a 22. Probably an under, but it's 40.5, so it's pretty low. But it looks like this Neither team's got a good offense, and they both have very good defenses. So it looks like an under game. Ball State, Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois, 6.5, 42.5, up from 5.5. Ball State, a Z team, 31 defense. Northern Illinois, an under with a 24. Maybe you play Northern Illinois just to win, possible. Temple goes to Tulsa. Temple, 5.5, 53.5. Temple, an over team, 24 defense. Tulsa, W, 28 defense. Very tough. Temple's playing very well this year. He got a good quarterback. He's got 15 touchdowns and no interceptions. Simon, good coach from Sam Houston. Temple, an over team with a 24 defense. So they're almost a B team. Tulsa W with a 28. I like Temple, but I don't want to necessarily play him on the road. BYU, Iowa State. Iowa State, 2.5, 48.5. I'm a little afraid of this game because BYU just played Utah last week, and they will be flat. They might play well, but this is where Iowa State's loving it, man. This is them at home against a BYU team that's going to be flat. BYU 15 defense, Iowa State 19. Maybe it's an under game. Seems like an under game. Rocco Breck, he's a good quarterback. I would prefer Iowa State as a home dog here. They did play Cincinnati, and they came back. It was 38-30. So BYU, very good defense. Probably a defensive game, I think. Pitt and NC State. Pitt, 6.5, 54.5. NC State, an even team with the 26 defense. Pitt's an A team with the 20 defense. Here's where I adjusted NC State. I had them as an over, but I noticed it was against a high school team in Akron or somebody. And in conference, they're not. They're scoring much less with the 26 defense. So I lowered it. Pitt's an A team. They just beat Clemson, and they played then they beat Florida State. So they're a very good team, good quarterback. Florida Atlantic and the Navy. There it is. Navy, 14, 63.5. Florida Atlantic's an over team, 35 defense. Navy, an A team with the 21. Look for Navy to just run the clock and run it down their throats. We'll see. Florida Atlantic can score, maybe, but Navy's probably a good play here. Lou Monroe, Southern Miss. Southern Miss, 13.5, 48.5. This is up from 11.5, went to 12.5, 13.5, 48.5, down from 50. Lou Monroe's a Z team with the 31 defense, and here we go. Southern Miss, the over team with the 25, just what we want. Southern Miss should blow them out, basically. They got good quarterback, good coach from Marshall, the Marshall team, basically, and that was a pretty good team last year. So here's where I'm saying the over team against the Z, like we had last night with North Texas. Go Southern Miss, beat Navy or beat Army. UMass, Central Michigan. Central 17, 46.5. Again, UMass, terrible team. Z team, 35 defense. Central, an E team with a 25. I would think Central should pound UMass here. Minnesota, Iowa. Iowa is 8.5, 39.5. Minnesota B team with a 19 defense. Iowa B team with a 14 defense. First team to 14 wins this game. 19 defense, 14 defense. We know how Baylor is, or how Iowa is. Baylor, Cincinnati, very good game. Cincy, 3.5, 67. What can I say? Baylor, the over team, best quarterback, Sawyer Robertson, up there with Daggio, 31 defense. Cincy, Shoresby's been scoring well, beat my Kansas team, beat Cincinnati, beat Iowa State. They're a good team. 19 defense. That ain't going to hold up in this game. Just it's Baylor. You go over. Cincinnati's got a quarterback, Sorsby. So this will be in the 80s, maybe the 90s. Oak State, Texas Tech. Texas Tech's quarterback's out. I told you I would look. He's still out. The backup's there. He's not a bad backup. They got a great running back and a strong defense. Oak State's the Z team with the 38. The coach is gone. The quarterback sucks. He's a freshman. I think they're switching quarterbacks. Texas Tech's an A team with a 14. Texas Tech 37.5, 56.5. I don't know who's betting this game over. 37.5. It's hard with the backup quarterback. I think Texas Tech shuts them out. Just how many points they get. I honestly think this is more of an under game. But I think Texas Tech, they're going to win, maybe 41-0 or something like that. Texas and Old Mississippi State. This is your free play today. Go under in the game. Texas an under team. Arch Manning absolutely sucks. An 11 defense. And Mississippi State is an A team with a 20 defense. And they beat Arizona State. They played pretty good in games. Texas is 7.5, 47.5. The over keeps going up on this game. It's crazy. I don't know why. Oh, Arch Manning is going to actually play? I mean, come on. So look for Texas 11, Mississippi State with the 20. Look for this game to be 24-10, Texas or something like that. I can see betting on Texas before I can see betting the over here. TCU, West Virginia. TCU 16.5, 55.5. TCU an over team, of course. Hoover, very good coach, very good offense, and a 26 defense. West Virginia is a Z team with a 30 defense. Rich Rodriguez thinks he's back at Michigan. TCU will score an awful lot in this game. The question is, will West Virginia score at all? They should against TCU, but they're just kind of weak. Obviously, they're a Z team. They're just overmatched. I think they're replacing the quarterback today. But we don't have any information on the new guy. So normally TCU is an overplay. But 56, I don't know what I'm getting from West Virginia. They don't show any offense. If they're a Z team, they score about 15 points a game. I'm not trusting them here. Maybe you take TCU down to 10. Could be a play. But again, it's the 26 defense and the quarterback. What do we do with it? Lou Lafayette and Troy. Troy, 7.5, 47.5. I'll hurry it up because it's almost kickoff. Lou Lafayette a W with a 30 defense. Troy at even with a 24. Wisconsin, Oregon. Oregon 31.5, 44.5. Wisconsin, terrible offense. Decent defense, a 24. Oregon, what can you say? How good's the quarterback? I don't love them. They're an A team with a 14. They scored 100 points off the loss. They're at home. I don't know. It's a tough 31 points to Wisconsin's. It's a tough number. Wisconsin's not that bad. I mean, they're not Akron. So I don't lay 31 here. Georgia State, Arkansas State. Arkansas State 1.5, 59.5. Down from 62. Georgia Southern is an over team with a 35. Arkansas is a W with a 30. I'd say Georgia Southern's a live dog in this game. Because you got an over team against the W. Why is the W team favored? Because they're at home, but I don't see them blowing out a Georgia Southern team. Stanford, Miami again. Miami 29.5, 45. It's a big number. Stanford just beat Florida State. I don't like this line. Miami off the loss to Louisville. Okay, so I think it's a little bit over excessive. You're laying 29 because you lost to Louisville. I don't know. Stanford might give them a game. Stanford's a W team with a 27 defense. Miami's an A team with a 15. But it's just Stanford. Okay, they got to fly across the country, but it's a 7:00 game. 4:00 for Stanford, and it's a They just beat Florida State. You can't ignore that. BC Louisville 25, 54.5. Again, I think this line's crazy. BC's an over team with the 33 defense. Louisville an A with the 21. I don't like Miller Moss, Louisville's quarterback. I do like their coach. He's good. I don't know. This is probably an over game because BC will score on them. They've got a good quarterback. They just don't have any defense, so we'll see. Louisville likes to blitz a lot. Colorado State, Wyoming, 4.5, 47.5, up from 46. The sharps betting over in a Wyoming game. They're not too sharp. Colorado State an even with the 27, Wyoming an under team with the 22. A&M against LSU. Bobby, where the hell are you today? You'll have to give everybody an ounce of silver for being tardy today. A&M an over team with the 23 defense. They played Arkansas to 88. LSU an under team with a 14. Neusmeyer is just not that. He's been injured, and I think he got a little better. He played a decent game last week against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt lit him up. That's Daggio. A&M's got a good quarterback in Reed. A&M, the over team with the 23 defense. LSU an under with the 14. I don't agree that I think that the quarterback is healthy. They're not an under. And I think the 14 defense, as Vanderbilt showed you, they picked up 31 on them. I think you'll get points in this game. Michigan State, God only knows. Michigan 14, 47.5. Every time I bet Michigan at Michigan State, I lose, so I am not playing this game. Michigan's a B team with the 17 defense, and they just run it down your throat. The quarterback's not that good. Michigan State an over team with a 32. Their quarterback wants to run. He's not that good, but they are scoring, and their defense sucks. Michigan should win this game, but I got a feeling this is going to be 32-31. Michigan or Michigan State might win it just because it's the big game. It's the rivalry. It's at East Lansing, and Michigan State can score. They played Indiana pretty tough. So it's not like they haven't seen Michigan, but this is their season. So there's no way I could take Michigan. And total-wise, very hard. Michigan State will come up with plays. They'll score on Michigan, even though you don't think they will. But Michigan State with the 32 defense. So Michigan's going to run it down their throat. Quarterback's really not capable of good throwing. He shouldn't be playing. He's a freshman. He has no idea what he's doing. It's a waste of $1 million if that's what they actually paid, which I doubt. Tennessee, 7.5, 54.5 to Kentucky. Tennessee, the over team. 30 defense, Kentucky an E, but they have a 25 defense. Normally, they have a better defense. Houston, Arizona State 7, 46.5. Houston, a B team with a 19. Arizona State, an E team with a 24. They beat Baylor. They beat TCU. And then last week, they beat Texas Tech, even though Texas Tech had their backup quarterback in. Love Arizona State's quarterback. Maybe he's a Raider next year if they're smart enough. Sam Lovett, he's a winner. This should be a good game. Houston, probably a live dog in the game. I think Arizona State wins it close because that's what they do. In our last game, Colorado, Utah 14, 49.5. We got to see if Devin Dampier is playing. I don't know what. Will Dampier play for Utah today? Utah quarterback status ahead of the game. Here's the latest update 6 hours ago. Quarterback questions dominate Utah's matchup with Colorado. Let's see if this is USA Today. Utes will have their starting quarterback to help them, and junior is probable. Okay, so he's playing. There we go. Yes. Utah, great defense, an A team, 15 defense. Dampier is an outstanding quarterback. Very quick. He's like Flowers at South Florida back in the day. You couldn't tackle him, but he's a good thrower also. Colorado, you got Prime, you got that running quarterback from Tulane, I think. They're an E team with a 24 defense, so they're Not a great defense. It's a hard game to call because Utah is so dominant, especially with Dampier. Off of a loss to BYU, it's a big game, but because they lost, they'll be fired up. They're at home, but it shouldn't really affect Colorado because they're used to the altitude playing in Colorado. This is a tough game. An A team against an E at home, 15 defense. Colorado will find a way to score, I think. I don't know. I like the game under. If Dampier wasn't playing, he is playing. I think this game gets into the 40s, so maybe it's over 43 and a half, but it's a tough one. Profit, I have a 14, 13-point teaser I need your opinion on. Profit, that's going to cost you $35. You've got to pay me for a consulting fee now. Michigan State, I can't really comment. I have people that actually pay, and I'm not going to insult them by giving free picks when they pay for my service. So a small fee, $35 to be your consultant is fine, and then I can advise you on the games. I can't do it here. I'm not gonna screw over the people that bet. That pay for the people that don't pay and want my opinion. I know it's a good opinion, and I'm happy to help you. But if you walk into your CPA, your attorney, and say, "Hey, I need your opinion on that," you're paying, and you're paying here. Now it's not a lot; it's $35. I can win you thousands, but I can't do it for free. Yeah. So yeah, no, nothing personal. Just too many people are commenting, "Hey, I paid," and I got to respect that. So this is a business. The economics I can help you with, but not that. Okay, so that's the games. Okay, we'll look at the gold, how it ended yesterday. 41.13 and 48.60. Silver, again, gold. Why does it go down? Because it's options and paper. It's bullshit. Understand physical is far more limited than paper, and therefore the value of the physical gold is much higher, which is why you should be buying physical gold and silver, not ETFs and not stocks. You buy physical, you lock it up in a safe, and you just watch the price go up, and it will. China and Russia will see this and buy it because they can't find it at 41.13 anywhere. This is a bullshit price. If you're in the real market in China or Russia or BRICS, you can't find gold at this price, probably $5,000. So they go to COMEX because it's 41.13, but it's not a real price. They have to cover it, which they can't. What do you charge per week? Well, if you want me as your consultant to say, these are the games I like, pick me an 18 teaser, $35. If you want to buy my picks, it's 75 college, 75 pro, or 100, and you get all my college and pro and locks. If you want just the locks, it's $75. Again, I got 3 locks going. I got 1 today, and I got 2 tomorrow. And in the pros, now I'm seeing it much clearer who's good, who's bad, and I'm able to do locks because I have confidence that what I think will happen will happen. Where in the early part, with all these coaching changes and Cam Ward and all this shit, you really have a hard, like Indy, you really have a hard time betting them because I don't know if they're real or not. Jacksonville turns out to not be real. Baltimore sucks. Buffalo, the only team they beat is Miami and the Jets. So you start questioning, or what do I got there? KC, yes, we know them. Detroit, I don't know. They got killed by Green Bay and Kansas City. They beat the Bears at home, and then they beat Tampa at home. I mean, so they're very inconsistent now. But that's for tomorrow, the pros. Or is it by? It's not by session. It's by week. So in other words, you buy Tuesday through Monday. So it's a normal week. Like this is week 9 in college. So it starts Tuesday. It starts right after the Monday night game. Tuesday comes, you get the whole week. So for 75, if you want college or pro, or let's say you want everything, it's $100, and you you get from Tuesday to Monday. So you get all weekend, and then you get to ask my opinion on that. You can buy the season. The season's $500. It's usually $750, which is a steal because there's 22 weeks. So it should be 2,200. I'm only charging you $750. So now I'm letting it go to $500. So if you want the whole season, every game, every lock, pro and college, playoff, Super Bowl, $500. So you can go 100 a week. You can go 300 for the month, which is 4 weeks, or you can go 500 now for the rest of the season. And you just go to teaserking.com, purchase picks, and it's a PayPal thing. Or if you want, you can Venmo me the 500 and I'll see it, and then I'll give you the password. If you do use PayPal, please use family and friends if it's an off thing. If you just want to pay me that, I do accept tips and things like that. All of a sudden I get a tip. Some guy says, you just made me 10 grand. I don't know who he is, never heard of him. And he gives me a $500 tip because I made him 10 grand. So yeah, tips are appreciated. But yeah, I mean, I can't just, who do you like here? It's offensive to the customer. So if you buy from me, get a steak, and then here comes somebody and they just hand them the steak. You're like, wait a minute, hand me a steak. Why? What are you doing? And so that's the thing. Bitcoin, no Bitcoin. Only real money. Gold and silver, yes. I see we're again unstable. Oh fuck! Please cannot. Okay, we should be all right. Am I still on? Profit. No Bitcoin. I don't know what USDC or ETH is. I only accept real money, which is gold and silver. You can pay me in USD on PayPal or on whatchamacallit, or give me your gold bars would be nice. Okay, yeah, I thought so. It was quick. I've been getting that today for some reason. But no, I can take money and then I can go to my gold store, and then now I would trade it in for some silver or maybe 1/10 of an ounce of gold. But no, I don't take Bitcoin. I don't have an account. I don't think it's real. At least money I know isn't real, but I can Rumpelstiltskin it into gold and silver. Then I'll take it as a conduit to turning it into gold and silver, as I would for Rumpelstiltskin. Baseball, as I talked about. So here's gold again. This is a bullshit drop. Nobody's selling an ounce of gold. People that sell gold and profit take are idiots, because the reason you're buying gold in the first place, this is worthless, right? They printed it. It doesn't have a value. A lot of that is because we are the reserve currency, and we had to use it on the petrodollar. We had to print, and then we had to print for all the countries to make FX exchanges. So if I'm China and I want to buy Saudi oil, I have to sell my yuan for dollars and then take the dollars to buy Saudi. Well, I don't have to do that anymore. China's going right to Saudi to buy it. Russia is, India is, they don't use the dollar anymore. So there's all these dollars out there. Approximately, I think 140 trillion of them are out there. Way too much, has no value. They keep printing the bonds they can't sell because everybody knows they're worthless. And so therefore the dollar's got no value. So I don't want to be in it. That's why we're in gold and silver. So why would you profit take? Yeah, I bought gold I bought this at $250, right? It was $250 an ounce for gold. This cost me $550. I could profit take it and sell it now for 4,100. It's worth 3/4 because it's 18 karat. So I get about $2,800, or 4,000 is 3,000. So it's like 3,100. Why would I do that? What am I going to do? And if I get this crap, what am I going to do with it? I'd rather have this gold than this toilet paper. So if I do sell it, I don't really profit take because I'm in this shit. I don't want to be in ETFs because they don't have any gold. And I don't want to be in stocks because it's about to crash. The housing is about to crash. Basically, it's not going to crash. Basically, what's happening is the market's down here in housing because of the interest rates. at about 200,000, and they're trying to sell houses for 500. Well, there's nobody to sell it to because the market's down here. You've got to, if you're in business or you're doing anything, you've got to find where your market's at. And that's the point. Like me, I can't charge $1,000 for a week in football. Maybe I get one or two buyers, but generally I'm not going to get any sales. I've got to find where my market is. 35 for an analyst or for the consulting is a joke. It should be probably 200-300, but because we're family, I'll do it for 35. Profit, if you're going to buy, let me know so I can make sure you get the password, and the games are already starting to kick off at 12 o'clock. But that's what's going on. And so again, that's why I bring up the barbecue ribs. He's got to know what his market is to sell the ribs or the chicken or whatever he sells there. And that's why Vegas is going broke, because they're over market. They're trying to add all these costs thinking people will pay. People won't pay. Oh, the whales will pay. No, the whales won't pay. Bobby came on. He's a whale, right? He's a millionaire. Says, I won't pay for the resort fee. I won't pay the extra. Titus was on. He said the food was very expensive. He went to Vegas 2 weeks ago. Everything was very expensive. These are whales that are not going to pay for it. Even a whale, if we're all millionaires from the gold, we still are going to look at prices, and we're still not going to say, well, we don't care how much it costs, we'll buy it. Bullshit. That's not the way people are. People are very careful with their money. They're very careful if things are too expensive. Even me with the dark chocolate, it's now like $5.79. Fuck that. I'm not buying dark chocolate at that price. I think there's a shortage in cocoa, but I'll just go without it. That's fine. I don't need it. It's something that was good. Cocoa's good for you, but I'll just have more honey then. Substitute that for the cocoa. But I'm not paying $10 for dark chocolate bar. Fuck that. You got to be kidding. I can afford it, but I'm not going to pay it. So Vegas is over market. McDonald's is $15 for a family meal, and people are going, fuck you. A lot of places are switching to processed food. So they're removing the quality. Tuna's making the cans smaller. I mean, this is the joke of it. Coke wants to charge you $3.50 for a 2-liter. Fuck you. I don't need it. I'll just drink water. Thank you very much. Or I'll put lemon and cinnamon in the water and honey, and I'll make my own concoction. I did notice broccoli went up to like $2.99 for a broccoli head. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. I mean, that should be like 99 cents. So all of a sudden broccoli's going up. Not enough to hurt me, but if I have to, I'll just have more cauliflower and celery and broccoli. I eat a lot of veggies. But that's the key, is the market. So is the housing market crashing? Not really. It's just adjusting to market. It's here. The market's 500,000. They want to sell for 500, but it goes here. Now, when the dollar goes out, this goes to zero. Then it gets replaced with gold-backed currency, which will then give it a value of maybe 50,000. That's what's going to happen. The markets will all adjust to the gold and silver-backed dollars. If the U.S. keeps trying to do this bullshit, nobody will buy it. BRICS has all the gold, so they're going to have gold-backed currency. They already do. China does, and I think Russia's coming out with it. Bitcoin and what other the stable coin aren't real. They're not backed by gold, and if they're not backed by gold, they're not real. Shut the fuck up, dog. If they're not real, if they're not backed by anything, they're not real. That's the problem with the dollar. This isn't backed by anything. This isn't backed by anything. So if they're not backed by anything, they're not worth anything. The reason they're worth something, if this is backed by gold, I can take it to the bank and get €5 of gold. But if it's not backed by anything, I can't take it to the bank and get anything for it. It has no value. And as you keep printing it to death, because all governments are doing the same thing, they got to pay for government employees and the pension and their debt. They're all in debt. They'll never buy defense contractors. They'll never buy the weapons for what? To go to war with Russia? Are you kidding? Well, we got to help Ukraine. That's a bunch of bullshit. That's MI6 and the CIA and the Israeli Secret Service are behind it all. It's not Ukraine. Zelensky takes the payoff, and he's stealing money right and left. He's very corrupt. All the politicians are very corrupt right now. It's just you can't trust any of them, so you don't. You can't trust any government statistics. Oh, inflation's 3%. In what world is inflation 3%? You're full of shit. You can't measure inflation in a percentage, but you can't measure it year over year. You go back to 1971 when we are off of gold, and you can say gold, $35 an ounce, is now 41.13, really 43. Therefore, it's like 60,000%. That's your inflation rate. But gold's different than silver, is different than a house, is different than a car, is different than chocolate. They're all the chocolate would probably be 10 cents for a candy bar in 1971, is now probably, well, look, $5 for the dark chocolate. That's 50,000% inflation. You want to count that? You want to go there? Oh no, it's year over year. Says who? That's all make believe. There's no such thing as year over year inflation. And why is it prices? It's not prices either. I'm really sick and tired of that. Well, it's 3% increase. But that's not right. You don't measure it by prices. It's inflating the supply of money. It's 150,000 tons or 150,000, $150 trillion is what it is, not 3%. Well, you printed more. It's worthless. That's it. And I disagree with Egon. He keeps saying it's 99% gone. And I go, no, it's 100% gone. How do you know it's 99 and not 100? Come on, Egon. What are you talking about? It has no value. So anyway, that's kind of economics. So be careful with that. As far as that is. Football, like I said, I tried to explain how to grade and what we're looking for to grade and why we grade in the first place. We're looking for mismatches. We're looking for art of war. We want to bet against weakness. That's your Z teams. That's your W teams. We want to bet on strength. That's why we bet A teams or over teams. We look for quarterbacks because that's the key. And that's really what we're trying to do. Mark McGuire's show is horrible. I tried doing it a little yesterday. I think it got in at the end. If you watch till the end of mine, second one, no, the first one, and then the internet crap, but I do hit it. And then again, it's 3 locks going this week. The new price is $500 if you want the rest of the year, or you can keep paying $100 a week for another 15 weeks. It's up to you what you want to do. Again, if you buy the year or you buy the week, the locks are included, so you don't have to buy the locks and the week. Just buy one, and off you go. What else? So if you want help with 8-team teasers, 10-team teasers, who do I like in this? It's $35. Out of respect to the people who buy, I can't give you a stake and then charge them for a stake. So just $35. Go on YouTube, or you can go on Venmo and just send me 35. Who do you like here? Who do you like there? But I can't just for free give you my opinion, especially if you're not a buyer. Here it is. That's just, I'm not going to do that anymore. So 35. What I don't like is I'll give guys tips and they win and I don't get any money. You're not tipping me. So you're not feeding the goose who's laying you the golden egg. That's really disrespectful and rude. I really don't like that. At least if you would tip me and say, yeah, you made me $500, there's $50. Fine, I can understand that. But if you think I'm just going to give you the picks and you're just going to insult me and not tip me, not say thank you. No, that's not happening anymore. So being a little more stoic right now, but I'm not gonna do that. So sorry, boys, but see what I don't get is you find a guy like me who can actually pick games and give you gold, but then you want to take advantage of that. You want to, oh, who do I like here? Give me your free picks here, and then refuse to say thank you. What is wrong with you people? I don't get it. Uh, I know there's no other handicapper like me who can figure out this stuff. So I really just don't get it. Help me, but then insult me. What is wrong with you guys? So anyway, I'm tired of being taken advantage, and I am tired of people that are paying for the service, who I'm happy to help, but then not getting respect from people like Prophet or Nick, who wants my advice, who don't say thank you. I don't quite get that. I've known Nick for many years, but I don't get uh, I don't get the indifference of not thanking me, and oh, you made me money. Well, give me your idea on these games. I'll win, but I'm not gonna give you a tip or thank you. It's insulting, basically. Um, so that's the problem. So Prophet, I'm happy to help you, but you're not going to tip me if you win. So I'm going to ask for the tip up front. Uh, you know, you go to a restaurant, do you not tip the people? Do you not say thank you for serving me? Anyway, this frustration of being taken advantage of, and I'm not going to do that anymore. So you want my picks? I'm only asking for $35 as a consultant. If you went to your CPA, your attorney, and you said, "Oh, can you help me here?" I'm sure he's billing you $200, $300, $500. He's not giving you. He's not answering your questions for free, which is what you want me to do because of my skill set, which I appreciate, but you're going to pay for it. I do appreciate all the effort you put in, Professor. I'm sure you do. But when you start asking me to make you money, I expect in return a thank you, which is give me a tip, whatever you feel, but just give me the effort, right? So I know Nick appreciates it, and I've taught him a lot. But you basically, be be intelligent. I mean, I'm the goose laying the golden eggs. You can't just sit there and not do that. So anyway, I'm lowering it to $500 for the year, which is nothing, but you got, well, we're in week 8 of the NFL, so you got at least 10 weeks of NFL at $75 a week, 750, and then the playoffs and the Super Bowl. But the 500 includes college, so you got another 7-8 weeks of college and their playoffs and the bowls. So I don't know what to say, but um, you know, I know you're asking who do I like, and I know I've been nice in answering the questions, but no, it's pissing off the customers, and I will not piss the customer off. So yes, I'm sure you appreciate it. I know you're only able to get this information from me, and that's fine, and I'm happy to help. But you know, show show some class and respect to the golden goose. So Daria is telling me about Russia, and when there's the Ukraine is bomb, well, the U.S. is bombing Russia, they tend to turn the internet off. I don't know why that has. Maybe it's the signal that these rockets get. Maybe they tune in to the signal, so they turn off the internet, so there's no homer. So she's saying that's why my internet goes off sometimes. So it's just, living in a war we don't realize is happening. I try to watch it. I know Russia won and they're winning and they can't lose. The US and the UK are doing it for the defense contractors. Why are you letting the defense contractors dictate a war for you? Is that fucking nuts? The whole government's corrupt. They take the payoff from the lobbyists. Why are there lobbyists available to pay off the politicians? I mean, who's in charge of this place? The lobbyists, the defense contractors, or the government? And apparently, it's not the government. And apparently, it's the banks. Oh, I know what I wanted to show you. You will love this because it's right up our alley. Okay, this is a mafia guy explaining, he breaks down the gambling scandals. So this is a real mafia head, and he's explaining what's happening. So I know we're getting all this gambling bullshit in, where the gambling uh, comes in and they fix the games, like just happened with Chauncey Billups and these other guys that are idiots that do everything. And this is the explanation on the inside what's really happening. It's very good. I think you'll enjoy it. We'll go through most of it. It's 29 minutes, and I know it's already 12:30, so we'll do like 15 minutes of it.
Welcome to another sit down with Michael Francis. Hope everybody's doing well. All is very good, very blessed on this end. As always, my friends, they give all the praise, honor, glory,
He's a real
thanksgiving
mobster
to our God for that. Well, you never know what's going to happen when you wake up in the morning. And today I am being bombarded, I would say, by all the news media because of this latest arrest and scandal with the NBA and gambling. And everybody's hitting me up, and I understand why. I'm kind of the go-to guy on this because I've been working with all the pro leagues and the NCAA about gambling and players getting involved in it for 30 years now. As a matter of fact, I was recruited out of prison when I was, about 6 months away from coming home, and started working with all the major leagues back then. And obviously that was followed up by the NCAA, and have done over 300 universities, both Division I and Division II, speaking to all the student athletes over the years. So why did they pick me? Because I had a big gambling operation on the street. I had 12 or 13 bookmakers working for me at that time. And so obviously I knew a lot of athletes get in trouble all the time, with respect to gambling. It happens. I don't like to throw a wide net over everybody, but listen, you got to understand with athletes, gambling is an extension of their competitiveness. They raise the stakes when they gamble. And this is what happens. Many of them get in trouble, whether they be in pros or in college, but it's been happening and it will continue to happen. Now, 4 of the 5 New York families were involved in this investigation. It just broke this morning. And, oddly enough, the Colombos, my former associates, my former family, they weren't involved. So either they were smart and didn't get themselves in trouble, or somehow they're missing the boat. I don't know what it is. But let's get into this a little bit. Let me make you understand this, people. It's always going to continue. I did a media deal this morning, and they said to me, Michael, we haven't heard much about organized crime, ever since, the Gotti days. We haven't heard much. You don't hear that much. Let me tell you something. They got smart. They're working undercover now. It's not the same as it was in my lifetime. No doubt about that. But they're not going away. And I've said this many times. They're not going away in my lifetime. They're very resourceful, and gambling will always be a major business of Cosa Nostra. That's just how it is. It's very attractive. It's very lucrative. Guys love to gamble, and they love to make money by gambling. So yes, they're going to continue. Are the sports leagues going to be targeted? Of course, because they know athletes are easy prey in many, many cases. I'm sorry, they used to come to me, my bookmakers, and tell me things, which I'll get into a little bit. Athletes are easy prey. They get themselves in trouble. They owe a debt, and they got to do whatever they got to do to get out of it. Sometimes we have to intimidate them. Sometimes they just play along with us, whatever. But it happens, and it's not going to stop happening. Why? Because today, athletes have more access to gambling than they did in my day. Back in my day, you had to go to a bookmaker. You had to go to Vegas, maybe Atlantic City. Today, no. Today, you can gamble anywhere. So what happens? When they gamble legally and they lose their money legally, what do they do then? They try to make it up somewhere. They turn to a bookmaker. They have relationships on the street that say, hey, I know how to get you out of this. Don't worry about it. And they do what Chauncey Billups does and a few of the other guys. And this is a widespread net that they seem to have pulled out over here. I'm going to get into it. I'm going to read you an article so you know exactly what I'm talking about for those of you that that aren't aware of this yet today, but you will be because it's big news. And I'll go through it and then we can talk about it. I'll give you my comments. Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups, big name, great player, amazing. And Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, current player, and former NBA guard coach Damon Jones were among 34 individuals arrested Thursday in a federal FBI operation. These are big names, people. The arrests were part of an FBI-led investigation involving multiple agencies and the NYPD targeting La Cosa Nostra crime families. I don't know if we were the target at this point. Listen, it's so hard to get away with something today because especially when you have a lot of people involved, somebody's going to mess up. Somebody's going to become an informant. Somebody's going to start to work with, the investigators. You can't get away with this for too long. Now, some of you may say, well, Michael, they might have made millions of dollars already. True. And maybe if they're going to do a couple of years in jail, they'll figure, hey, it's worth it. I'm set up when I come home. There's a lot of different schools of thought on this, but you're never going to get away with it forever. Very, very difficult, especially when you got high-profile players, because honestly, they're not all that smart. They don't know the ways of the street. They're not all that smart. They're going to get themselves jammed up. Okay. All three face charges of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Interesting. We'll get into that. The investigation included two coordinated operations, Operation Zen Diagram and Operation Nothing But Net. It was both, it involved sports gambling and it involved card playing. And this is the oldest trick in the book, with cards. Oldest trick in the book. I mean, this goes back God knows how long, certainly during my day and beyond. The operation spanned 11 U.S. states. They focused on illegal gambling, money laundering schemes linked to organized crime. Remember this, people. Any bookmaker that can carry a bet or handle a big bet, they're going to be involved with organized crime. In New York especially. Why? Because number one, we're not going to let them operate alone. They're going to have to operate with us. We're not going to let an illegal bookmaker operate on his own. He's going to have to answer to us. And if he doesn't, he's in trouble. We'll put him out of business or whatever. All right. And they want to work with us because remember, bookmakers give credit. They don't take your credit card. They don't take your money up front. They give credit. Well, if they have a collection problem, what are they going to do? Very simple. They come to us and we collect. We're pretty good at collecting. So bookmakers want to be involved with us. They'll give up a piece of the action just to have the protection from us. So if you're dealing with a bookmaker that can carry any kind of a bet, they're going to be involved with us in some way, shape, or form. I'm saying us. I'm not a member anymore, but, sometimes I just say things like that. So let's keep going. FBI Director Kash Patel stated the operation uncovered schemes where NBA players and coaches, not surprised, rigged gambling systems to benefit criminal networks. They're working with guys on the street. Listen to this, and this is what I just said. A confidential FBI source recorded over 3,000 calls and meetings with targets and participated in rigged poker games using cheating devices, an example, shuffling devices and x-ray tables. Again, oldest trick in the book. They're more sophisticated now. If you go back to the movie Casino, remember when De Niro caught the guy? They had the little, the device, and they were signaling somebody at another table when they were playing blackjack at that time. Oldest trick in the book, really. And now, with the level of sophistication technologically that they have, forget it. They can do wonders, especially when people are playing along with them. 3,000 calls they got on tape. Billups and Jones were identified as face cards, and they're former pro athletes that used to lure victims referred to as fish into poker games. Who wouldn't want to play, poker with an NBA player? Who wouldn't? Hey, come on to the table. Let's have some fun together. They want to be around the player. It's good for them. They sit down, they play a little game of poker, and that guy, the NBA player, is luring them into a fixed game. Let me tell you something. Guys that are gamblers, they're easy prey also. You give them an opportunity where they can earn money with something that they love to do, gambling. It's in their blood, in their system. They love it. Easy prey. They're fish. That's basically what they are. Fish. The fish were unaware of the face cards. The face cards were called the NBA players, were part of the scheme. Rozier, big player, allegedly faked, listen to this, not uncommon at all. He faked an injury during a March 23rd, 2023 game. The Hornets and the Pelicans were playing, and they allowed co-defendant De Niro Laster to place insider bets. Remember this, it's never about winning or losing. It's about what? The point spread. I'll give you an example. I'm going to go back because I don't want to name. Look, innocent until proven guilty. These are allegations. We don't know. This is what's being alleged. We'll see. Let me give you an example. Let's go back, to players that aren't playing anymore. Lakers are playing, right? An inside bet. They got an inside deal with the referee. Let's say the referee, and don't think that this doesn't happen. It absolutely does. The referee wants to make some money. It's Christmas time. He needs a few extra bucks. God forbid one of his kids, need an operation. He needs some extra money. So what happens? It's never about winning or losing. It's about the spread. Lakers are favored to win by 10 points, right? He's got somebody he can trust, an uncle, a cousin, a brother, a neighbor, somebody very close to him. Listen, I want you to bet, X amount of dollars on the under. What do you mean? Kobe Bryant, all these guys, Shaq are playing. You sure you want to go the under? Just put it on the under for me. So now the referee, this. He can call a foul every time these guys move down the court, or he doesn't have to call the foul. He misses it, right? So what does he do? He gets Kobe, he gives him an extra foul or two, and he puts him on the bench for extra time. Limits the possibility of the game going to the over. If he does this a few times, he's going to make some money. He may not score in the first game, but over a period of time, he's going to make some money. It's very easy to manipulate an NBA game. He just did it. He told his friend, I'm going to go out on an injury. Bet the under. That's what he does. They make it. Very, very simple. I have experience with this, people. I'm not going to get into particulars now. It's a long time ago, but I have experience. Why do you think we want, to play? Why do you think I got involved with Norby Walters? Norby Walters, remember that? He was representing all the college athletes to go into the pros. I gave him $250,000. Why? I wanted to get close to the players because I knew if I get one or two players working with me, I'm going to make a ton of money. That's why I got involved with Norby. That's why I gave him the money. No question. And Norby later on was threatening players when I went to prison. I never got back my $250,000, never paid me back because I went to jail after that. And I didn't have a chance to get close to the players back then. Bad circumstances for me. But why do you think I got involved with them? You get one of these players, forget it. You can make a ton of money. And that's what happened here. So don't be surprised. Rozier allegedly faked the injury, went through that. Defendants allegedly received non-public NBA injury and player participation information to place fraudulent prop bets. Okay, you're supposed to report when a player is injured. You got to report it. This is part of the game, so people know. What if you don't report it? and people get that information. They know, hey, this player, again, Kobe Bryant, he's not at full steam today. This player's not at full steam. Bet the under, whatever. This is what's going to happen. You can bet so many different ways during a game. So when you have injury information that only you have, you can make a lot of money. That's why they tell people you're not allowed to get this information out. It's got to be reported or forget it. Big advantage you can get with unreported injury information. Really help you win a bet, no question, or a series of bets. Proceeds from these bets were laundered, including through cryptocurrency conversions to evade detection. They didn't have that back in my day, but now listen, like I said, guys in that life are very resourceful. They will figure things out, no question. They will figure things out. So now they're using crypto, which to a large degree goes undetected. But what happened? You got an informant here. He's got 3,000 calls or text messages that he put together. You have an informant, and you always are going to have an informant. It's going to happen. Remember that. Now, 3. It's going to happen. Remember that. Links to prior NBA betting scandals. The indictment references former Toronto Raptors player Jontay Porter, previously banned for life and who pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud. That's a gambling situation. Prosecutors allege Porter was threatened due to gambling debts and coerced to share insider information used for betting. Give you an example. Back in my day, NFL player, right? And this happened. I'm not going to mention the names. More than once, but this happened. Bookmaker working with me, he comes to me, hey, this player from the Jets, he's into me really heavy. He owes me 50 grand. Okay, what do you want to do? Should I bring him to you? How should I collect? 50 grand. Let him get into you for 250 grand, 300 grand. What are you doing? You're writing an entry on a piece of paper. It's not costing you a penny. He's a bad gambler. Let him get into you heavy and then bring him to me. Boom. Before you know it, he's into me $250,000, $300,000, right? I bring him to me. Sit down. Hey, how you doing? Good. You owe me a lot of money. Oh, you didn't know it was me? Sorry, yeah, we don't always put that out there. But it's me. You owe me a lot of money. How are you going to pay? You got to pay. You got to figure it out. I'll tell you what. You know what? I love your team. I like the way you play. I'm going to give you a break. You owe me $250,000, right? You don't have to pay me right away. You pay me 2% a week in cash. When do you get paid? Every Monday you be here with the cash. Don't miss. Don't miss. And I'll let you slide for a while. I don't care. That's fine with me. He wants to do anything to get out of the room. He leaves. What do we find out? We're tracking a guy. He goes to another bookmaker somewhere else, right? And he's trying to make up the loss by betting somewhere else. Well, we all know what's going on. So pretty soon, he can't even pay me the 2%. We call him back in the room. Hey, let me explain something to you, my friend. You don't get away with a gambling debt. You got to pay me. You got a rich uncle. You got a godfather. Who would it? Go rob a bank. I don't care what you do, but you're going to pay me. That's it. Oh, Michael, let me tell you that. For some reason, I got a soft spot with you. I don't know why. So here's what we're going to do. You're a good running back, right? Yeah. All right. First 3 times next game, you put the ball on the ground. What? You heard what I said. Put the ball on the ground. First 3 times. You're a wide receiver? Okay. Make sure that that ball doesn't go into your hands. That's it. You're a quarterback? First 3 times you get the ball, put it in the other team's hands. I'll worry about the rest. I'm getting an edge now. I know what to do. You're going to do this over a period of whatever amount of games I tell you, and that's how we're going to even up the score. And if you don't do it, you don't want to know what happens.
So now you understand when you see the quarterback throw some interceptions, it's a fixed game. He's doing it because he has to try to get out of the thing. So that's when we say the game's fixed, and you can see exactly what's happening. They have gambling debts. That's why you wonder about certain teams. The guy has a bad day, he throws a bunch of interceptions. It's fixed. But in the teaser world, he's only going to say they're 7-point favorites. You can win, but only by 6. But in a teaser, we're only laying 1. So we're okay. He still wins, but he doesn't win by 7, but he does win by more than the 1. That's the beauty of the teaser. It does protect us from this, but it's still showing you what's going on. These guys do bet. Shotani should be out of the league for gambling. There's no way his interpreter bet it. What a bunch of horseshit that is. But that's the whole thing. It's very the NBA would never bet. It's very crooked. NFL is very crooked. We know, but in teasers we're okay. But you get all these games. Is the Utah quarterback really hurt, or has he got a gambling debt? And I think a lot of these guys have the gambling debts. That's why they would hate me, because I'm not going to put anybody out. I'm going to help people. People are going to make money with me. So they don't like me because they can't use because you're not going to be down. You're going to be up. But keep that in mind. So that's about as far. We got football on. Very interesting thing, but it's not. If you watch the movie The Gambler with James Caan, you see exactly it. The guy gets in trouble. He owes $44,000. He gets a guy, and they fix a basketball game in like New York State College or something like that, New York City College. So it happens all the time. We understand that. It happens in the government. It's all fixed. It's all the defense contractors. The whole thing is bullshit. This is why they don't like the gold standard, because here they can just print, but the government can print money to get out of things, except for they can't print money to get out of debt. But if they owe money, so the guy did something wrong, he can print money and pay off the mafia with that. That's why the mafia owns the banks, in with Madoff and all this. But what they don't understand is, but if you keep printing the dollar, it goes to zero. This is the point. The mafia doesn't have economic background. So they'll just give me $1 million without realizing it's not worth anything. And that's why we buy gold and silver, right? Profit. Can you imagine being 250K in debt to the mob? Well, no, not me, because I am a very good gambler as far as winning, cutting my losses. When I'm at a poker table, people are amazed my patience and how good I am at staying out of trouble. So that's how I am at it. Like, even if I play against teams, like there'll be two guys playing together, I'll beat them both, because I'll just wait. And then when I get the hand and they start fucking around, I jump on them and I have the nuts. So I'm pretty good at that. I'm very good at getting away from a hand and seeing the raise and getting out of the hand. Somebody raises me 100 and I fold. I'm very good at that. That's why I don't really get in trouble playing poker or football. That's why I say bet your bankroll. If you bet your bankroll, then that's all you can lose. Well, the bankroll is what I can afford to lose. So if it's $5,000, I'm betting 100, 200 a game. Well, I got $5,000. I'm okay. But yeah, to get into debt. Well, these are athletes who are playing professional sports who make millions. So you would think they would not. A, you're wondering, why do they gamble when you're making $1 million? Why do you need to gamble for 50,000? And then B, you'd think you'd be able to pay it off. Okay, well, here's my check. Here's 50 grand to pay for the gambling, but they probably don't want to. And you have that, but everything is very corrupt. The banks are very corrupt. The government is very corrupt. We must understand that and not be surprised by it. The dollar is gone. We've picked up on that, and we buy gold and silver to protect from the dollar being worthless. It's as simple as that. So we understand the problem and we understand the solution. What I do when I pick football is problem solve. I look at the game like yesterday, North Texas, Charlotte, and I problem solved it. And I said, no, this is an over team. This is a Z team. They're going to win by so much. And that's exactly what happened. I've had people go, how do you do it? And it's simple, but you got to understand the team. And I'm very good at understanding what the team is: an over, a Z, an A, a B, whatever. And that's why I grade it. But I figured that out. And that's why I'm way ahead of all the other handicappers. they look at their algorithms or their AI or all the other bullshit. They don't even know what they're looking at. Oh, let's look at the algorithm, or let's look at OPS in baseball, which is absolutely meaningless. But I understand it's meaningless. I want batting average and RBIs. There's a reason you use batting. I want a guy who hits 300, not a guy who's OPS. If you have an OPS of 800, it's meaningless. All it is the guy either hits home runs or strikes out. It's how many times does he get on base? So he might walk, and then his hits are all home runs, like Shotani, or he strikes out. So we don't. His batting average is 220, but he hits home runs. So his OPS is high because all his hits are home runs when he gets a hit. Otherwise, he strikes out. So you're not looking at batting average. His on base percentage, well, he walks, so it's high, but it's bullshit. It's meaningless. Guy's hitting 220. That's the important part. So again, you've got to know what to look at. I don't look at time of possession in football. It's meaningless. You get a pick six, a fumble recovery, a kickoff return. You're not going to have any time of possession. It's totally it's the defense. How good is the defense and how good your quarterback is the key to picking football games. But that's something I can do and most people can't. It's looking at the defense and looking at the quarterbacks, and that's the key. And the coaches a little bit. Well, the coaches are scrambled eggs now anyway. So again, www.teaserking.com. 3 locks going this weekend, 2 in the pros tomorrow. Again, if you want my advice, I'm happy to give it, but I just asked for a small token, $35. And I do that because nobody wants to give me, after they win, a tip or a part of it. Titus did. I won him 18 grand. He did give me a tip, but a lot of the people don't tip me. They just take advantage of me is how I see it. And I don't like it. And I don't like that the other customers who are actually paying are, hey, why are you giving this guy a free pick and I'm paying? And so that ended. So you want my advice? $35. I give you free picks here. Again, the free pick today is Texas under. Free pick tomorrow is Dallas over. So I'm giving you some advice. Now you want to pick on your own, give me $35 and I'll tell you if they're good, bad, or ugly. But this free stuff stops, okay? No more taking advantage of me. I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. If that's how you feel about me, then fine. But that ends right now, and I don't like it. So anyway, www.teaserking.com. If you want to buy the picks, gold, look for gold to go to the moon, silver to the moon, because you got to get out of dollars. It's as simple as that. All right. Well, good luck today on the games, and I will see you tomorrow at 11. We got the pros. Hopefully, I apologize if the internet gets crushed off, but that's what it's all of a sudden I see the internet, I'm trying to connect and it's really YouTube or the internet. I don't know if it's a YouTube problem or an internet problem, where I can't connect, so I can't do class. So apologize for that, but it's really out of my control. So have a good day. Again, watch the first one. I do talk about the onions on your feet, which cleared my nasal infection, and castor oil and coconut oil. And now I got here and things like that. So have a good day and good luck, everybody. All right. www.teaserking.com.